Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, where I could not be more happy than to have my friends from Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, Jim Lee, Deb Hartley. Welcome both of you to the show.
Good to see you, Joe. Good to be here.
Hello, guys.
All right. Hello.
So as I've been out and about recently, I've seen something that disturbs me. I've seen some homes that are for sale, and they're empty. That's not a...
Empty,
empty. Like nothing in them. Which I suppose is fine, but it's nice when you you sort of plan this to maybe have some stuff in it, make it look like people live in it.
It's a double-edged sword.
Right?
It depends what the owner's things looked like.
Right. That's a good point. You may not want to say this is what the house looks like with our stuff, right?
And some homes can be so cluttered that you can't envision what it looks like on the inside. You can't envision how your furniture could be placed. You can't even see how big the home is with all the things in it.
Yeah, here's the other part of that. So our house looked like it was much, much bigger than it really was because of the way it was set up. I got in it and I'm like, this house is tiny. Like looking around, I'm like, my bed doesn't look like that bed. It probably wasn't the same size.
There are lots of people who go into a really lovely staged home and want to move into that person's life.
Yeah. You just...
They want their linens, their pillows.
Right.
They want their life.
Start over. You had
Joe, you're thinking
worker.
of the classic of you go into a model.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, and some people wind up, especially in a condo, and want to buy that unit as is.
Sure.
You know,
and everything in it.
That's the good news is it's instant gratification. It's no creativity on their part. Somebody else created the whole setting for them.
And that experience.
And it's no home. It's just a setting.
Yeah.
It's no home.
It doesn't really work.
Exactly.
That's living in a hotel.
That's living in a hotel.
You mentioned a great word, though, because I love this word, staging. Staging a home. So that's the part where you do take all your crap out.
Correct. And you know what a good realtor...
And you bring in good stuff.
A good realtor will go in and say, okay, I'm ready to list your house, but this is what you have to do. We do this all the time. Remove that piece, take all the personal pictures off the wall.
Sure.
I don't want people looking at your family, I want them looking at the floor plan. And I don't want them making assumptions.
Distractions.
I don't want them making assumptions about what you can or cannot afford based upon your MBA on the wall, your doctor, your planes on the wall. I don't want people making assumptions. I want them to look at the floor plan, not at you as an individual.
Wow, I hadn't thought of that one. That's a really little intricate detail right there that you might not be able to envision yourself in this house because, well, that house belongs to a doctor. I'm not a doctor.
Or the doctor can afford to sell this at a whole bunch less because he makes a lot of money.
Not true.
Maybe not true. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, but it does create, these things all create subconscious thoughts.
Exactly.
But it actually starts when you pull up.
Right?
From the outside. Frequently you get a first impression, the curb appeal as we call it, and it can be so negative, which just happened to me this week.
Hey, tell me about this.
Well, we drove up and then walked up and there was no maintenance of the landscaping whatsoever. It was, the weeds were growing between the rocks, the path, everywhere, and it was begging for a low offer to begin with, but also they didn't even want to necessarily go in and take a look. It was a turnoff from
the way I look at this
get-go.
is even the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland looks good from the outside.
And you know that.
I was just there.
So on the flip side, I had a property that was completely staged on the outside. Fresh plants in the planter, beautiful baskets, white chairs on the porch. It said, come and sit at my porch and come see my house. And it sold in 2 days.
Yeah, makes a big difference.
Makes a big difference. So the parting shot is not only take a look at the inside, take a look at the outside and make the first impression really wonderful so somebody wants to go inside and explore what's next.
All right, but this is where I think a realtor comes into play. So, I mean, there's so many other places, obviously, but this is an important area because I think so many of us think that our ideas are really like everyone else's. They're really great ideas.
Right.
Or we think they're just so unique that people are going to love them, which is not necessarily the case.
Right.
No.
Typically, that's entirely the opposite.
That is very true, the opposite. So if you paint a room bright red, don't expect the next person to love a bright red or a purple bedroom.
You're going to appeal to one person out of 10, not 10 out of
That's exactly
10,
right.
or 9 out of 10.
So you have to make it more broad-based, more broad appeal.
But cleanliness is
That's
of
key.
utmost importance.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That's especially bathrooms, kitchens, and bathrooms.
I just think it's just helpful to remind people that what you think is clean and what the person coming to look at your house thinks is clean are very different
very
things.
Different. Exactly.
Yeah.
You have come to recognize your home being lived in.
Right.
And clean lived in is fine for you, but it's not fine for the person looking
It's
at that
not fun.
house.
Big spots on the carpet
Yeah.
are not
Yeah.
appealing for the next buyer.
Right. They don't know that that spot was paint or something else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When in fact, for them, they're thinking, so their dog is kind of a mess.
Or either the first thing,
Yeah.
the first thing is their mind is, the carpet needs to be replaced.
Yeah, it's money.
$10,000.
Yeah.
Or whatever, whatever the magic number might be. But that's the first impression.
Let's see.
And these things seem so basic, yet
But people do it wrong all
people
the time.
don't do it right. And we walk in as realtors looking at it as a buyer would. We put our buyer's eyes on.
Well, the thing that you mentioned there, and I think we should probably repeat this part or get to the heart of this though, is that so many people take this personally as the seller. And please don't, right? They shouldn't take it personally. We're just trying to help sell the house.
Our job is to help you
Right.
solve a problem, and your problem is you need to sell this house.
Right.
So if I walk into your master closet and the clothes are all over the floor, we got to fix this.
Right.
And personally, it's not my job to fix it, but things become our jobs as we walk into a house and toilet seats are up, dishes are all over the counter. I mean, that's kind of our job to kind of make it look as good as possible because we're trying to help them sell that house.
You live in it one way and you sell it another. And it's a commitment. It's a
point.
commitment.
I like how you put that because that is there's a distinction to be made
There is.
There is.
You can't, and I see a lot of people try to do it. They try to be living in the home they're trying to sell. That's fine if you have hours to do it. Time that's set aside, the home gets taken care of to that next level. But it's not the best way. The best way is get it done. And
there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
If you have a family living in a home
yeah,
and they're trying to sell it, it's a job.
it's harder.
When you leave the house, toilet seats down, dishes out of the sink, all beds made, floor vacuum, dog out, or whatever. It has to be in pristine, and it's hard. I get it. It's hard on the family that lives there. But if you want to sell your house and you want the maximum dollar out of it, it's got to sparkle inside and out.
Sparkle, shine. That's the key.
And not your idea of clean. What other people's idea of clean is.
Right.
Or even it's not their idea of clean, of how the house shows best. Because
There you go.
not everybody lives clean,
Yeah.
not everybody lives tidy. But if you're looking to look at the counter space and the granite counter, whatever, it's
If you
gotta
can't
be
see the
picked up.
countertops because there's 14 appliances.
That's exactly right.
Well, the decluttering,
Right.
Yeah. So these are all key things. Again, this is where realtors come in to play, and it's just it's the smallest area. Probably a big area for you guys. But when you think about the real work of it all, of going through the whole sale, this is one of the smaller areas, but probably one of the most important.
It's not necessarily small. It's very critical, though.
Yeah.
It's very critical because our job is to get you the highest price in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassles.
Right.
And you can help us by decluttering, cleaning, and defrothing.
Guys, this is good information. I love this. It's fun to talk about something a little bit different.
Yeah.
This is certainly an area that I think people maybe don't think about often enough.
And it's so basic.
And it's so basic and so real.
Yeah. And especially when you're taking buyers into different homes and they can see, the differences.
Yeah, people are making comparisons.
And
in their head.
also,
Completely.
a clean, sparkling house is going to imply maintained well, where one that isn't is going to imply deferred maintenance.
Deferred maintenance, right.
Right.
Just like the weeds growing.
I think it reminds me when you're trying to sell your car, people are pretty good at when
Bingo.
When they do that, they're pretty good at it, right?
Right.
They go and get it detailed, they get all the stuff out of it. It's the same thing with your house.
That's exactly right.
Guys, thanks so much for being here
Thanks,
as always.
Joe.
Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, they'll help you with that part of the selling process as well as so much more.
Yeah.
And like you said, this may not be the one you thought of, but it's certainly an important part. And that's what it's all about, having a realtor involved to help you find out those things that are important to make sure that sale goes through the way you want it to. We'll be back with more right here on the Mountain Morning Show after this.
Hey, my name is